What's up, guys? There's a movement going on called Operation Cosmos, and it's an effort to get a Xenosaga HD collection made. You can check down in the description for more information about it. Tales of Xillia 2. I have been anticipating this game for a long time. I played the first Tales of Xillia and I really enjoyed it, gave it a 9 out of 10. Jumping into Tales of Xillia 2, I'm expecting more of the same, just even better. The question is, does this game drop the ball, or is it just as good as I was anticipating? So people, this is your JRPG enthusiast, Shadow Elite, and I'm reviewing Tales of Xillia 2. Tales of Xillia 2 puts you in the shoes of Luger, a guy with a whole lot of things to say. Well, not really. Not at all. Luger is a silent protagonist, something that's very different for a Tales game, and something that really didn't sit too well with me in the early going. Because Tales games usually have characters with personality and charm, especially the main character. Seeing Luger just sit there in story sequences and skits, just nodding or saying yes, is a rather different change of pace than what I'm used to. As you play, you can make choices that will give Luger some dialogue. These choices also have some impact on gameplay, as the choices you make will affect the story to some extent. I mean, the choices you make will impact things some characters say and how much your party members like you, but that's about it. There's no branching paths or anything to make the choices you make have any real effect on the story, until of course you get to the final set of choices towards the end of the game. Now, for the actual story, it has you paired up with a young girl named Elle because of, well, reasons. Those reasons include a debt of 20 million gold that you have to make payments of in order to advance the story. And it has you go into alternate dimensions to destroy anomalies that threaten the original dimension. Going to alternate dimensions might sound like something that's been done to death probably, but I like it. Seeing how characters react in different situations in alternate worlds was pretty cool to see. Especially since I was so fond of these characters in the first Tales of Xillia and saw the development in the first game, seeing how they tackle these situations with their, enlightenment and development is really just awesome. Speaking of the first Xillia, this game jumps right into the setting of Rize Maxima and Olympius, bringing with it the entire playable cast and along with Muse and Gaius. I would say it's a necessity to play Tales of Xillia 1 to have a much better understanding of the terminology that is being used in Xillia 2. Of course, if you don't mind reading the Wikipedia entries or the in-game encyclopedia, but seriously, in order to get the maximum enjoyment out of Xillia 2, you should play Xillia 1. Both of them together pretty much makes one game, to an extent. Tales of Xillia 2 graphics are just as solid as they were in Xillia 1. That's because they're exactly the same. As a matter of fact, almost everything is the same, from environments to towns to characters to menu screens. The developers really didn't go the extra mile here. Almost all the places you visit are the exact same places that was in the first game. Nothing has been changed or touched up to add a little visual flair to them. The world of Olympios was introduced in the end game of Xillia 1 and didn't have that many places to visit. I wanted to explore that world more, and there are new areas to visit, don't get me wrong, just not as many as Rize Maxima, the first game setting. Now, story elements might prevent Olympios from having more locations to visit, but come on, with all this recycled stuff, it kinda just feels like a cop-out. Now, the graphics as a whole are solid, just the whole development of the game just screams that the developers wanted to save money because of all the reused areas and assets. Seriously, if I were to put the Tales of Xillia 1 costumes on all the main characters and cast, you probably couldn't tell the difference between the two games at first glance. But personally, to be quite honest with you, it didn't really bother me all that much. I really liked the world of Xillia, and seeing it again and diving into the world again turned out to be a very fun experience. But still, as much as I didn't mind it, I really can't forgive it for recycling most of the assets, and then not even fixing the NPC popping whenever you enter a city, and sometimes there's a slight slowdown when the screen gets too busy, so it's like they recycle stuff and didn't fix the other graphical problems. Why? The music and soundtrack remains a good aspect coming from Xillia 1. It ultimately comes off as an overall improvement. In the voice acting department, I really have to give kudos to Namco Bandai for doing an excellent job on the character voices and having pretty much all major story events, side quests, and character quests all voice acting. The localization alone was just expertly done. There was no point in the game where I was wondering to myself, oh, how did that scene sound in Japanese? Or did it have more emotion in Japanese dub? I didn't have a need to see it because the game's English dub did a very good job. Tales of Xillia 2's gameplay comes off as more the same, but side quests play an ever so important role. As I mentioned earlier, there's a 20 million gold debt to pay off. Now you don't have to pay all that off, but you do have to make payments in order to advance the story. Side quests and hunting down elite monsters will earn you more than enough money to make those payments, but I feel forcing you to partake in side quests is a little bit restricting, and hiding the story behind a paywall of sorts is just not right. Side quests should be done at your own leisure, not as a part to make the story move. Now again, I didn't really mind this. I enjoyed hunting down elite monsters and getting more items for the journey, but I really don't think you should be restricted by any means to advance the story. The story is getting good and you want to see the next chapter happen, you want to proceed, just go ahead and go. But to halt your progress like that as the story is just about to move on to something good, that's not something that should ever be done. Again, I didn't mind this, but I could definitely understand some people's frustration. Now the battle system is again the same, but some things have changed thanks to taking control of Ludger. Ludger is different from your normal Tales of protagonist because he has not one, not two, but count them 3 weapons at his disposal, freely switching them up in battle and being able to switch them mid-combo. Swordplay, power hits, gunplay, all connect for Ludger to dish out some serious pain. But each weapon comes with a set of drawbacks, so it's kind of fair play here. Ludger also has a transformation that he can use to completely devastate his foes. Linking up returns from Tales of Xillia 1. Linking with party members yield awesome results. The ability to use link arts for now all characters and linking with certain characters of course will give you added abilities. Guys can make your guard even better, and linking up with music allows you to teleport to or away from your enemies. All these components make the battle system that's probably the best I've ever seen. Action is fast paced, everything moves smoothly, and the way link fighting works is just superbly done. This is without doubt the best Tales of battle system I played. Maybe quite frankly the best battle systems ever.
I'm so happy I beat a harpy. Now you try, Gaius.
I'm so happy I beat a harpy.
Now when it all comes down to it, Tales of Xillia 2 is a great JRPG on PS3. Does it have its flaws? Yes. Can I forgive those flaws? Yes. Can I overlook those flaws? No. There are design choices here that I just can't wrap my head around. Like Ludger actually having a voice for his choices after you've beaten the game. Why? I know he's a silent protagonist, but, still. Also, in the first Xillia, you could switch party members on the fly, outside of battle, and even during battle for some flexibility. In Xillia 2, you have to use Ludger in your party, and you're stuck with 3 party members until you return to a town. Again, why? Along with recycling its assets, Tales of Xillia 2 is a game that just doesn't sit well with me in some areas. But nonetheless, it's still a great game. I really enjoyed the 45 hours I spent with it, and I really do want to go back and play it again. I can't remember the last JRPG I played that I just want to jump back into again. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Tales of Xillia 2 an 8 out of 10. I definitely recommend it to almost any JRPG fan, but I do recommend that you play the first Tales of Xillia to get the most enjoyment out of its sequel. Well, guys, that's it for now. Just Shadow Elite, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.